Hello and welcome to episode 391 of AI Brief. I'm Amin, here to ask the questions we're all thinking about as we watch this industry just accelerate.
And I'm Leah, here to help connect the dots on what is happening in the world of artificial intelligence.
So we've been talking about this possibility for what feels like forever, just speculating on if or when it would actually happen. And now the moment has finally arrived for OpenAI. It really feels like the era of magic research project is ending.
And the era of actual product has begun. It is a massive shift, one that completely changes the dynamic between these large models and, well, people who use them every day.
It feels like the inevitable collision between cutting-edge tech and the demands of a balance sheet.
It really is. So today we have a packed agenda to get through. We're going to unpack OpenAI officially testing ads in ChatGPT.
And we have to talk about the feud between Elon Musk and OpenAI, which has escalated into a full-blown legal and public spectacle. I mean, we're talking leaked journals, plans for cities on Mars.
It's a lot. We also have a breakdown of other global AI news covering everything from financials to supercomputers. And we'll wrap up with a roundup of the top productivity tools trending right now.
Okay, let's dive right into that headline story. OpenAI has officially announced they are testing targeted advertisements in ChatGPT.
This is so significant. It marks a real transition from a purely subscription and, research-focused model to one that relies on ad revenue.
And who are they testing this with?
Right now, it's with free and budget tier users, specifically in the United States.
So if you're a free user in the US, you might start seeing what they're calling sponsored recommendations.
Right. And these aren't just pop-ups or banner ads slapped on the side.
No, they appear situated right below the model's responses.
Correct. And the key word there is targeted. The targeting is based on the conversation context. So if you're asking about coding or creative writing, you probably won't see an ad for a new car.
But if you're asking about travel planning, maybe you'll get a sponsored link for a hotel or a booking platform. It's contextual.
It is. It's very similar to how search engines operate, but it's integrated right into that conversational flow.
That makes sense, though it does raise some immediate questions for people about privacy, about sensitive topics. If I'm typing in something personal, is that being scanned to sell me something?
And they've anticipated that concern. They've set specific constraints. Ads are explicitly excluded from conversations about health, politics, and for any user who is underage.
Okay, so they're trying to tread carefully here.
Very carefully, to make sure the utility of the tool isn't compromised by the monetization.
And they're also launching something called the ChatGPT Go tier globally. What is that?
That's a new subscription level. It's priced at $8 a month.
And it has ads.
Right. And the Go tier is interesting because it includes these ads. The idea is that the advertising revenue helps offset that lower price point compared to the Plus subscription.
So it creates a middle ground for users who want a bit more than the free tier, but aren't ready to commit to the full premium price. And just to be clear for everyone listening who's already paying for Plus or using the business versions, what happens to them?
If you're on the premium tiers, so that's Plus, Pro, Business, or Enterprise, you remain completely ad-free. This change is strictly for the free and budget levels. It's a classic price discrimination strategy.
Let's unpack the privacy aspect a bit more. Because whenever we hear targeted ads, we immediately think about our data being sold.
Sure. And OpenAI has made a pledge about this. They state they are not selling user data. Furthermore, they're ensuring that the ads do not influence the actual answers from the AI.
So the model generates its response first, independently.
And then the ad placement happens separately, below it. That distinction is crucial. You don't want the AI telling you a certain brand of coffee is the best just because that brand paid for an ad.
Right. But looking at the bigger picture here, the why behind this feels like a pivot. I remember Sam Altman saying ads were a last resort.
He did say that back in 2024. But if we look at his more recent comments, his tone has shifted. He said he wasn't totally against it, provided that user trust could be maintained.
It feels like a very calculated progression.
It is. And if we connect this to the business side, remember they hired Fidji Simo from Instacart back in March. That was a huge signal.
She comes from a background that deeply understands monetization.
Exactly. And with OpenAI eyeing a potential IPO in late 2026, they need to show diversified revenue streams. They can't rely solely on subscriptions if they want to hit those massive valuation targets.
So this sort of sets a tone for the entire industry. If the leader of the pack starts running ads, it gives permission for everyone else to do the same.
It does, and it forces us to ask how this balances with user experience. It's a slippery slope. If the ads become too intrusive, people might leave. But if they're helpful, well, It could fuel their next stage of growth.
Speaking of growth and conflict, let's move to the other massive story dominating the headlines. The battle between Elon Musk and OpenAI is getting messy. That's the understatement.
It is shaping up to be a historic legal battle. The trial is set for April, and right now both sides are just releasing information publicly to try and frame the narrative.
It really feels like they're trying to win in the court of public opinion first. Musk started this latest round by sharing anecdotes from Greg Brockman's private journal from 2017.
And that journal is fascinating. It covers conversations Brockman had with Ilya Sutskever about OpenAI's structure. Back then, there was a strong desire to be a B Corp, a benefit corporation.
But the journal also highlights their deep concerns about Musk's involvement, even way back then.
They were worried about a consolidation of power, and OpenAI didn't just take that lying down. Sam Altman fired back by releasing his own notes regarding Musk's past intentions.
And these details are just wild.
They are. Altman's notes suggest Musk wanted to accumulate $80 billion specifically to build a self-sustaining city on Mars.
Okay, but even crazier than that, there were notes about a succession plan where Musk's children would eventually control AGI, artificial general intelligence.
A hereditary plan for control of the most powerful technology in the world. It creates a stark contrast to the whole open and safe AI for everyone narrative.
And OpenAI put out a blog post about it.
They did, titled "The Truth Elon Left Out." They're highlighting what they see as discrepancies in Musk's narrative, essentially arguing that he is cherry-picking history to suit his lawsuit.
And the money involved here is staggering. Musk is reportedly seeking $134 billion in damages.
That number is astronomical, and Musk is confident. He tweeted recently, "The discovery and testimony will blow your mind." He believes the full record will vindicate him.
It is so rare that we get to see the origin story of a tech rivalry play out in such public detail.
That's what makes this so unique. This isn't just a contract dispute. It's a battle over the history of how this technology was built. It is a massive, expensive legal spectacle.
All right, let's shift gears. We have a lot of other moving parts in the AI landscape today. I do want to slow things down a little bit here because these updates are dense, but they're incredibly important for understanding the state of the field.
Let's start with marketing. There is a startup called Astral that just secured $1.2 million in pre-seed funding. Now, this might sound small compared to the billions we usually discuss, but the technology is what's important here.
They claim their tool can browse, click, and post across channels, just like a human. It's an agentic tool.
Yes. They released a launch video on X that garnered over 3 million views. The promise is that it can handle the execution of marketing campaigns, actually doing the clicking and posting. It represents the move from AI as a writer to, really, AI as a worker.
Now moving to image generation, Black Forest Labs has released FLUX.2 Klein.
This is a new variant of their editing model. The key here is speed. As these models get larger and more complex, latency becomes a real issue. FLUX.2 Klein is designed to be a speed-focused variant, making high-quality editing much more accessible for real-time workflows.
And on the geopolitical front, we had some interesting comments from DeepMind CEO Demis Hassabis regarding China.
Hassabis is usually very measured. He assessed that Chinese models may be only a matter of months behind U.S. labs. However, he noted that while they are catching up very fast, they have not yet shown innovation that surpasses the frontier. They are replicating success, but not yet leading the breakthroughs.
Back to Elon Musk for just a moment. His company xAI has made a major hardware announcement.
They announced that the CLOSSUS-2 supercomputer is now live. This is the infrastructure powering Grok. The milestone here is technical scale. It is the world's first operational gigawatt cluster. That amount of compute power concentrated in one cluster is just unprecedented.
That's massive. It really emphasizes that AI is as much an energy and hardware game as it is a software one. And speaking of data to train these models, the Wikimedia Foundation has announced some new partnerships.
This is a very smart move for Wikimedia. They have partnered with Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Perplexity, and Mistral. These deals allow these companies to train their models on Wikimedia's 65 million-plus articles, legally and officially. It formalizes that relationship.
Finally, we have to touch on the business side of OpenAI again. CFO Sarah Fryer published a blog with some eye-opening stats for 2025.
The headline number is that they hit over $20 billion in annualized revenue. That is a tripling year over year. But perhaps even more telling for the technical listeners is that their compute capacity has expanded 10 times since 2023. The scale at which they're operating now is just hard to visualize.
20 billion in revenue is serious business. Okay, let's bring this down to the ground level. We've talked about the giants. Now let's talk about the tools you can actually use today. We have a list of trending productivity tools.
First up is Claude Cowork. This is for the Claude users. The agentic abilities of Claude Code are now available to the Pro tier. This allows the AI to act more like a coworker, handling multi-step coding tasks.
Then there's Replit. They have new capabilities that allow users to easily build and deploy mobile apps.
This lowers the barrier significantly. You don't need a complex local environment. You can go from code to a deployed mobile app directly in the browser. It opens up app development to a much wider audience.
We mentioned FLUX.2 Klein earlier, but it's worth reiterating as a tool.
Definitely. If you need ultra-fast, powerful AI image editing, this is the model to look at right now. It's particularly useful for designers who need to iterate quickly.
For those focusing on the visual side, there's also Pixlio.
Pixlio is designed to create, edit, and refine pro-quality images. It's really aimed at users who need that professional finish without mastering complex design software.
And for automation, there's Vellum.
Vellum allows you to build AI agents using plain English. The idea is to offload boring, repetitive tasks to an agent you define yourself without needing to be a programmer.
If you have an idea for an app, you should check out Shipper.
Shipper claims it can turn ideas into real apps in about a minute with AI. It's part of this wave of instant app generation tools that are getting surprisingly good.
And finally, Signal 87.
Signal 87 transforms your documents into a connected knowledge system. Instead of just having files in a folder, it links the information together so you can query your own data more effectively. It turns your file storage into a searchable brain.
What a list. We have covered so much ground today. We went from the introduction of ads in ChatGPT, a truly pivotal moment for the industry, to the billion-dollar legal brawl between Musk and OpenAI.
And we saw the sheer scale of infrastructure being built, with gigawatt clusters coming online and compute capacity expanding tenfold. It's just a reminder of how fast this physical and legal landscape is changing.
It really is. If you found this deep dive helpful, please make sure to follow the show and maybe share it with a friend or colleague who needs to stay updated. We appreciate you listening.
See you in the next episode.